I watched him the other night, incensed. The post game show on Comcast Sportsnet is just absolutely must watch. Jimmy Lynam joins us right here on the program. What you said, Jim?
Good morning, my friend.
You were awesome Tuesday night, especially and you guys were great because the minute the game's over, you guys zoom in on the timeout and the refs looking at him. So it was great. It was immediate, like right afterwards, that you guys hit that fact.
Yeah, well, it was, I think it's fair to say it was the key play of the game. And to have it unfold the way it did. And I don't know if you saw the last 2-minute report, but on top of Nick Nurse not being granted his timeout, there were 2 fouls that weren't called on the play. Maxey was fouled twice. That's by the NBA report.
Yep. But and we'll get back to it, and because I love the strategy of it, and I want to pick your brain. But ultimately, you got a 5-point lead. Should have been 6. You just can't lose that, man. And it felt like it just melted away.
Oh no, there's no question. They gave the game away, and as I said, these games are, as you know, Anthony, they're very, very difficult to close out. This is not a 17 game; it's a 7-game series, and when you give one away, you make the hill a little tougher to climb for sure.
Is the moment? I mean, listen, you've been in that arena a million times. They haven't been good in a while, so there's a lot of excitement at Madison Square Garden. Do you think the moment kind of got to at least the role players? I mean, Maxey and Embiid have been sensational, but there's got to be help.
No, there's no question. I can't say, what the reason is, but that you need more from your peripheral, support cast. There's no doubt about that. If you told me, well, I think I said it maybe yesterday to somebody I was speaking with, that if you told me Maxey and Embiid are going to give you between 60 and 70, on both games, and you're going to guard Brunson the way they've guarded him, I mean, they've done a phenomenal job. The scheme is terrific. I give the coaching staff a lot of credit. And, the guys who are guarding them, it starts with Oubre, then Batum comes in. Tobias played him a lot. You can see it's a lot of length and a lot of size. So Brunson shot the ball 50, and I'm a Brunson guy, huge fan. I think he's terrific. But he shot the ball 55 times in 2 games, and he's making less than 30% of his shots. I would have told you the Sixers are 2-0.
I know. I feel you. What's disconcerting is, especially when Embiid's not on the floor, the offense gets pushed out. Like, they're starting their offense 30 feet, 35 feet from the basket. Like, there's that stretch in the third quarter where Embiid was on the bench and it was Maxey trying to heave to get some space, trying to heave up 35-foot shots. They can't get into some sort of rhythm offensively.
No, that's obvious. Well, it's been a problem the whole year. When Joe is out, if there's going to be a drop, I guess, in efficiency, yes, you'd expect that, but not to the degree that it's been. And I'm not sure, how you can explain it, that a lot of moving pieces, as you know, some of these guys came at the trade deadline, but plain and simple, they have to do a better job. I think this is fair to say that it's to the point that you have the 2 best players on the court. That's a given, Maxey and Embiid. And a huge percentage of the time, when that's the case, you're going to win the game. You have the 2 best players. But if your support guys are falling, short to this degree, I got news for you. It might not matter that you have the 2 best players. I mean, that's how drastic the situation is. And it's not just, I know Buddy Hield seemingly took the brunt of the criticism, but I'm going to put Oubre and Tobias right in the same boat with them. All three of those guys, you need more. It's that simple. Uh, they have to give you more if you're going to win this series.
How do you try to shake kind of Buddy Hield, maybe to jar him, to like how do you try to reach him? Because like he, I don't know that the quick hook works, but then he misses such a rhythm shooter. He misses a couple, and he's just been non-existent everywhere else on the floor. I don't know how you manage that, and you really need somebody else, right, to give you some sort of contribution. And you would think, like I thought all along, that with his skill set and Embiid, there would be space there for him to do something.
No, it's not a problem about space. It's a problem of putting the ball in the basket, and a problem of being aggressive enough that when shots are there, you take them. And you, in the case of Oubre and Tobias, who are creators of shots, they have to be aggressive and look to do that. And in fairness to them, Anthony, the fact is that you have really, two really star players. And we're not just talking all stars. I mean, Maxey is beyond special, and Embiid is the reigning MVP in this league. So obviously, they're going to get the brunt of the action. So sometimes, it's not easy. You're kind of spectating. You're spotted up over on the side, waiting to see if a ball comes your way. Uh, and in a way, I sympathize with that. But you have to get yourself involved. If it means doing other things, get out on the break, get to the offensive board, whatever. You can't just stand there and spectate. And then when a ball hits your hand, if you don't have it gone, I've had players say like, "Coach, I haven't touched the ball in like 4 or 5 minutes, and now all of a sudden I'm supposed to make a three." That's not the easiest role, but somehow these guys have to figure it out.
Sixers Knicks, the big story brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out truemark.com/PHLY. Stop at your local branch to learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. The coach, Jimmy Lynam, with us breaking it down. Do you try to shake things up? Maybe go to Ricky? Like, do you give him a little run, see what you got there?
It wouldn't shock me if they get off, let's say, to a shaky start or there's a bad stretch in the game. If Nick Nurse maybe would go to one of those bench guys, Ricky, KJ Martin, campaign, just as you say, to shake it up. But I don't think you abandon your guys. At this stage of the year, you know what you have. You have to have a trust in the guys that got you to this point. And I
Yeah,
think you have to, reaffirm, Anthony, this team early in, the year before the Embiid injury. I mean, this team was literally on the step with the Boston Celtics in terms of best record in the league. And you have to kind of reaffirm that to your guys that, we're not asking for smoke and mirrors here. This is a really good team, and we have to go out and play to that.
Yeah, it's funny because you think about campaign and like he's played in playoffs, he could score. Like the only issue is you're really small if it's him and Maxey in the game
Well,
and matching up defensively.
You're small with Kyle Lowry and Maxey. It's not.
Yeah,
It's again. It's not about size. Kyle Lowry has really played well, and as a result, there's only but so
well,
many
he's a good
minutes.
defender too. Like he'll grind you even at his age.
No question. He's been really a key part of this back run of the season, and I think he's played extremely well in these first two games.
Uh, just to get to that last play for a second, because it's interesting from a strategic standpoint. So I get what Nick's trying to do to try to get a quick inbounds to Maxey, so you get your best free throw shooter on the line. There's
Correct.
also a school. There's also a school of thought that listen, it's chaotic, right? You're under your own basket. Just call the timeout to try to advance the ball to midcourt. Where do you subscribe to that?
Well,
And
yeah.
also, you got Kyle Lowry, who's a veteran who should have called timeout instead of lobbing
Without
that pass.
You just said it, Anthony. We don't have to go any deeper, okay? That if you opt, and that's the coach's prerogative. Some coaches like to try to get it in quickly. Some like to automatically take the timeout. But if you want to try to get it in quickly, then the guy with the ball out of bounds has to know 100% without any gray area that the guy you're throwing the ball to, in this case, Maxi, has to be wide. And I have a couple words I throw in there when I'm going over it, in practice. For this setting here, he has to be really wide open. As in parking lot in the middle of Wells Fargo, all by itself, open. Where you can, and I might go into my act, where you can close your eyes and flip it, roll it, and he's going to get it. And Kyle made a mistake, plain and simple. There's no other way to say it. He has to take a timeout in that position because what he did, first of all, you bring the refs into the game.
Yeah.
They now, there's decisions. And unfortunately, they made not one, but two mistakes. That's by their last 2 minute after the fact that Maxi got fouled twice. You can't let that happen. If he's wide open, then there's no problem. He has the ball, he gets fouled. But in this case, Kyle put him in jeopardy. It was almost like a little football flip pass, right?
Yes.
Over the end line with two Knicks mugging him. I mean, that's an accurate
It was
description.
playing the Super Bowl with the grab, right? It
Yeah,
was Eagles
exactly.
Chiefs and the
Just enough
grab.
for them.
Yeah, if Kyle were sitting here with us, he'd be the first to admit he should have
Yeah.
taken a timeout.
Yeah. How do you now look? The Knicks are going to muck it up. Tibbs likes to crash the glass. He's not afraid of runouts. Like a lot of coaches, you want to guard against runouts. He just crashes. They did a better job on the glass down to that last second chance with Hartenstein. How do you combat that piece of it?
Well, I think you had to be a little more dramatic. They didn't just do a better job; they did an infinitely better job.
Yeah.
I mean, that was absolutely like insane that a team is able to get that many offensive rebounds in the first game. When you watch, I shoot a ball, I miss, you knock it out of bounds, so my team has another chance at it. When you count those kind of rebounds along with the ones that they actually statistically got individually, the Knicks got more than half their misses back in game one. Half. That's like impossible. And give the Sixers credit. They totally wiped that out of the Knicks arsenal in game two, except, as you just said, on the key play of the game. And they gave up DiVincenzo misses the three after the refs, you know, botched and blew the call. And then on the miss, Hartenstein goes up and gets the rebound. You can't. You have to get that ball, plain and simple.
Yeah, I know. Uh, it, I, there's after that game, I received numerous texts, social media, the whole thing, and right off the bat, because I love Embiid, I do, and I understand about health, and we've been through this every spring, but I think I need to ask you context of what Embiid means to this team and what he's giving you. And I understand people's frustration in losing, but to pin it on the big guy, I just think is not right.
Oh no, come on. I mean that's absurd. I mean you're right. What happens? I mean, come on. I've heard you say it countless times. Is the people's frustration when you're frustrated? You're disappointed. You're hurting, and as a result, you don't think with your brain. You're talking with your heart, and they come up with that. They try to explain it. By the way, some things are inexplicable, but just Joel Embiid, come on. I mean, the guy's he's out there. I put him in the category of does he love the drama? Of course he does, but that doesn't to me in any way like shadow the fact the guy's a warrior. I mean, he's played in postseasons. Unfortunately, I mean, you can say he's injury prone. That's another topic. But the fact that he's been hurt year after year in the playoff, or can you picture an orbital fracture in your face and you go out and play? And oh, well, he had a mask on. Yeah, the masks don't stop elbows from flying around in
Right.
the basket area. And I really think right now that one of the things he's having trouble like trusting that knee. You saw the two plays where, he he went up and landed in what 290 pounds, 7 feet, landing on one leg on a repaired knee that had surgery a couple months ago. Now Embiid is a warrior. He's playing terrific.
I know. I mean, that's the other thing too. Like, you watch when he's off the floor. I was having this conversation with my cousin, the Drexel Hill man, and we were talking about how when he's off the floor, the offense it just stalls and it comes to a halt because first of all, you need the two of them together. You need Maxey and Embiid to work off each other. But when Embiid's off the floor, man, they just blitz Maxey and the offense just stops. Like that's how much he means, even on one leg.
Yeah, no, there's no question. And I think I thought he was pretty good physically at the beginning of the game. I think as the game wears on, I think then the leg is not as strong. His conditioning obviously can't be where you'd like it to be because the guy missed 29, 30 games. And I think if they can get themselves in a position where they have a long playoff run, his conditioning will improve. But the topic regarding his level of play, come on, he's playing terrific basketball at both ends of the court, by the way.
Yeah.
And if somebody chooses to pick one play where Joe should have gotten that off defensive rebound, I guess you can do that. But I got news for you: you have no chance without Joel Embiid.
You think they win tomorrow? What's your
feeling?
I do.
I think, and this is I'm saying this from a not a fan perspective, but I do. You said earlier when I was waiting to go on, I was listening to you. Home court's a big deal. I think the first 12 teams in the playoffs won. The home team won until last night. So that I think will be a big advantage. And the fact is, this isn't just me, but a lot of people subscribe to the theory, and I think there's truth in it, that the role players play better at home. So I think when you put the Philly crowd, those couple of factors in, and the fact that they should, I think it's a fair statement. I mean, could they have won both games? That's a given. I'm going a little further than that. I'm going to say they should have won both games. So, I think they win the next two. I think you're in a 3-game series midweek next week up in Madison Square Garden.
Love it, Coach. You're the best, Jim. You really are. You're a treasure. I love you, buddy.
All right, buddy. As always, good talking. Good luck, and we'll talk.
Sounds good. Thanks, brother.
All right.
The great Jimmy Lott. He's the best. He's such a treasure, man. He's just a great basketball guy, like a Philadelphia guy through and through. Just classic.
We all silly like the mayor.